Turn off the victory music. Stop looking at the medals around the heroes' necks. Do you know what you're actually looking at? We call it peace. We call it a golden age. But if you scrape away the confetti, you will find that the foundation of every peaceful era is not hope. It is a massacre. Every time the galaxy goes quiet, it's not because conflict has ended. It's because the people who were screaming have all been killed. Welcome to the grim reality of the Silent Foundation. True tranquility in a system as chaotic as our galaxy is never a gift. It is a purchase. It is bought with the lives of those who had to be removed, erased, and forgotten, so that the survivors could enjoy the silence. Peace is not the absence of violence. It is the final heavy result of a violence so absolute that no one is left to scream. But how deep does this grave truly go? The illusion of a peaceful republic was only possible because of the immense forgotten graveyards of the past. For 1,000 years, the Jedi maintained a state they called harmony. But that harmony was built upon the total extinction of the Sith and the suppression of any world that dared to challenge the central status quo. The ancient Sith Wars left entire sectors in ruins, their populations silenced forever to allow the Jedi's 1,000 generations of peace. We don't see the bodies because they have been ground into the dust that forms the foundation of the Senate floor. The Force does not allow for a vacuum. To create a space for peace, you must first clear the space of life. Look at the Clone Wars. We romanticize the brotherhood, the heroism of the 501st. But what was that war truly? It was the manufacturing of organic beings bred solely to be corpses. Millions of clones were grown in labs not to live, but to fill the mass grave required to transition the Republic into the Empire. They were biological currency, spent and discarded to buy a specific version of order. When their bodies hit the floor, the galaxy didn't mourn them. It stepped over them to welcome the security of the new order. The clones were the ultimate proof that peace is an engine that runs on blood. This is the industrial necessity of the cosmic balance. To have a new hope, you must first have an old despair that has been completely burned away. The tranquility of the present is always an insult to the victims of the past, for their disappearance is the only reason the present is allowed to exist. Think of the silence that followed the end of the galactic civil war. We see the celebrations, the fireworks over Coruscant, the smiles of the victors, but we rarely look at the price tag. That peace was not won through diplomacy. It was won through the vaporization of Alderaan and the slaughter of millions on both sides of the front lines. The rebellion's martyrs, pilots lost at Yavin, soldiers frozen on Hoth, entire fleets destroyed at Endor, became the fuel for the new Republic's fragile dawn. The peace that followed was only possible because the Empire's war machine had been ground into the dirt, and the rebellion's martyrs had been fed into the fire. The galaxy wasn't healed, it was simply emptied of its combatants. The mass grave is the battery that powers the Golden Age. Without the sacrifice of the unnecessary many, the peaceful few would have no ground to stand on. This is the brutal math of the Force. It requires a mountain of corpses to tip the scale back to center. This principle of the necessary grave is why true balance is so terrifying. It suggests that if we ever truly reach a state of permanent peace, it will only be because everyone who could possibly disagree or rebel has been extinguished. The Force uses conflict to prune the galaxy, and the peace that follows is merely the period of time it takes for the next generation of victims to grow. From the Rusan Reformation burying ancient conflicts to the post-sequel fragile unity built on First-Order ruins, the pattern repeats. We're living in a cycle of blood, where the only thing that changes is the name of the monument built over the graves. Whether it is a Sith monument or a Jedi temple, the foundation remains the same. A vast, silent, and anonymous mass of those who were sacrificed to pay for the correction. We are walking on the remains of 1,000 failed civilizations, and we call it progress. The tragedy of the individual is that they never see the grave they are building. The soldier on the front line believes they are fighting for a future, but they are actually just adding their body to the pile required to buy that future. The Force does not recognize the heroism of the soldier. It only recognizes the weight of their life as it is subtracted from the equation. When enough lives have been spent, the piece is triggered, like a machine that finally has enough fuel to start. Stormtroopers, rebels, clones, droids, all reduced to anonymous weight in the cosmic ledger. This is the cold, adult reality of the Star Wars saga. It is not a story of good defeating evil. It is a story of a system that periodically clears its own board so it can start a new game. The Golden Age is just the brief moment before the next round of clearing begins. As we conclude this structure, we must look at our own hands and ask, who had to die so that we could be here? What world was burned so that our world could breathe? The mass grave is not a metaphor. It is a physical requirement of a balanced universe. The Force is a gardener that knows the best fertilizer is the rot of the old. We celebrate the harvest, but we ignore the blood in the soil. Peace is the most expensive thing in the universe, and it is always paid for by people who didn't get to enjoy it. The grave is ready, the silence is coming, and the cycle will never end.